السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SIDF 4th edition of November. Before we enter in the topic, let me invite Engineer Ibrahim for a safety moment. Ibrahim, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ibrahim Al-Jam'an. I'm a Senior Building Safety Officer here at SIDF. Displayed to you is the evacuation emergency map, but before getting into that, I would like to remind all of us of our current location. We are located in King Abdullah Financial District in the SIDF building on the west side of the second floor, the auditorium. Also, I would like to confirm that we have no fire drills scheduled for today, so in case the fire alarm is activated, kindly remain calm and listen to the instructions either through the evacuation systems or from one of our personnel assigned to this floor. That's pretty much it. And if you have any emergencies or any observations that you think might be vital to our safety, you can call on 1999, or you can reach to at any of our help desk. That's it, and I wish you a safe and warm day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to SIDF. The month of November, since few years, is the month of knowledge sharing at SIDF. Knowledge sharing is really very important. It enables networking. It enables the emergence of a lot of opportunity creation and discussion between different leaders in the sector and experts that are shaping the future of the sector. It is a unique occasion for networking with creating a lot of opportunity. Hopefully, it was in the past, it is happening, and it will happen in the future. Our topic today is the future of mobility. The future of mobility is about the automotive industry, which is a very dynamic sector and in the kingdom. And we will highlight today what has been done in the automotive sector, what are the opportunities in this sector, and also the challenges we are facing in the sector. The Kingdom, under the Vision 2030 and the NIDC program, and also the National Industrial Strategy, identified the automotive sector as a strategic sector. So this sector is strategic for various reasons, mainly for its job creation, for the creation of value, but also for the creation of opportunity for many other industry. So the automotive industry is called the mother of industry, and it's implying a lot of other sectors. So the National Industry Strategy for the automotive sector has 4 pillars. The first pillar is building full-scale manufacturing of passenger vehicle, BEV or ICE. Also building commercial vehicles with hydrogen fuel cell electric, and building the ecosystem, building all the supplier to supply these OEMs along with lithium-ion batteries. Many stakeholders in the kingdom worked hardly and spent a lot of effort, like the National Industrial Center, PIF, the Ministry of Investment, the Ministry of Industry, and other entities, along with Lucid, CEER, Hyundai, and SNAM. Today, we are very proud to have 4 OEM that are establishing their industrial operation in the kingdom: Lucid, CEER, and SNAM, and Hyundai. During today's presentation, we will uncover many aspects of the automotive industry, and you will find it hopefully very interesting. We have participants from various entities, as I mentioned, from Lucid, from CEER, from NIDC, from MISA, and also from the private sector. We have Pirelli also, thank you, have Ventilair, We have Sky Tower investment, we have Ubaikan, we have Zamel, we have MEPCO, we have many, many participants. Thank you very much for joining us. We have a delegation from China. We have also our colleagues from Hyundai, from South Korea. Really, really thank you for joining us for today's event. My name is Ismail Ben Hania. I am from Market Study Department. Again, welcome. I also welcome our follower on YouTube channel, SIDF channel, that are virtually following this event. Now I hand over to my colleague David to explain how important is the supply chain. David, the
Thank you,
floor is
Ismail. And good morning, everyone. So if you want to develop an automotive industry, where would you start? A couple of places that you could start, but the first is to bring the OEMs. This is the biggest, most single and important thing that you could do to start an automotive industries. And here in the kingdom, we have Lucid, we have SNAM, CEER, Hyundai, and possibly more projects coming. So this foundation step that the kingdom has taken is very important. It's a great place to start. Lots of more work to do, lots of challenges to face, but it's a great foundation. But what's the second thing that you can do? The second thing is to develop the supply chain. So if we look at the supply chain leading over towards the OEMs, why is the supply chain so important? If you look at the fine OEM companies there, they have tremendous capabilities, tremendous capacity. But for them, if you're looking at the thousands of parts that they need for each vehicle, can they be an expert in each of those parts? The answer that they tend to say is, no, we can't be the expert in all of those parts. Let's put that expertise into the hand of the supply chain. Because if you're making a braking system for a car, it's one thing to make a braking system, but the important thing is the quality. Is the quality leading edge? Is the price competitive? And is the supply of that part, is it consistent and reliable? So it's not important enough to make parts. You have to be globally competitive. So that's why the tier one suppliers that you see there are so important to the OEMs. And if you look at those tier ones in turn, they need components. And can they be specialists in all those components? No. So that's why they outsource some of those components to the tier two suppliers. And in turn, those suppliers need materials. And that's where you get to the tier three suppliers. So the supply chain is extremely important for the long-term success of the automotive industry. And not forgetting, of course, when the car maker makes the car, then he's going to sell it to someone like you and me and other users of vehicles. But the development of the supply chain is extremely important. It's the next step, and this is why we're here today. As Ismail said, we're so grateful for our panelists for taking the time to work with us and come and join the event. And the panelists that we have today, these are people with many years of experience and global leaders in their field. So to welcome Mr. Johnny Saldana, the Chief Procurement and Supply Chain Officer for CEER, Mr. Ben Stewart, Supply Chain Procurement Director for Lucid, Dr. Fahd Al-Douish, the CEO of SNAM. And then Mr. Aftab Ahmed, the Chief Advisor for Automotive for the National Industrial Development Centre, Mr. Ahmed Al-Malki, the Automotive Director for the Ministry of Investment. And then Mr. Bertrand Falconier, the Executive Vice President for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for Benteler Company. And then Mr. Ahmed Lahita, he's the CEO of the MENA Tire Company, Pirelli. So thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at our short agenda for today. So what we'll do next is have a very brief overview from some of the Saudi agencies explaining their role. And then we'll have Johnny talk to us, giving us a brief overview of CEER opportunities. Then we'll move on to our panel discussions, which will be in 2 stages. And then finally, you'll get to lunch and networking. And then this afternoon, we have the whole second floor available for drop-in sessions where any supplier can have a meeting with any agency in order to help them move forward with any plans that they might have in the kingdom. Okay, thank you. I'll hand back to Ismail.
Thank you very much, David. We will move in this agenda with some small introduction, I would say, of several entities. We will start with SIDF, then NIDC and MISA. Then we will hand over to CEER for the supplier opportunity overview. So Faisal bin Faris, my colleague from the credit department, will show you the introduction of, quickly, the introduction of SIDF. Faisal, the floor is yours.
So for the next 3 slides, we'll have a quick overview about the corporate profile of SIDF. So SIDF have been supporting the industry for over 50 years through financing initiatives as well as other services. The supported sectors are logistics, manufacturing industry, energy, as well as mining. The main function of SIDF is to provide loans, and those loans represent around 50 to 75% of the total project cost. That is based on the location, the loan amount, as well as other factors. The supported services, as I said, the main function is financing, but we provide other services such as the guarantee as well as the advisory service. So since SIDF establishment in 1974, until 2023, we have dispersed more than 145 billion Saudi riyals. We have approved more than 224 billion Saudi riyals, and we have approved more than 5,000 loans. SIDF capital has increased throughout the years. It started by 0.5 billion Saudi riyals in 1974, and it increased to 105 billion Saudi riyals in 2019. So SIDF projects, we have the project financing for financing new and expansion projects. We have acquisition financing. We have multi-purpose financing for financing CapEx that doesn't increase the capacity. We have working capital financing. We have Mutajaddida program, which focuses on renewable energy projects. We have AFAQ for supporting entrepreneurs. And we have, lastly, the Tanafusiyya program, which support enhancing the efficiency of projects through implementation of technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you very much. Now I invite Mr. Ahmed Aftab to make an introduction of the National Industrial Cluster. Mr. Aftab. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank SIDF, Mr. Ismail, Mr. David, Faisal, others. This is my 3rd year, I believe, on this forum. And always I enjoyed it and very, very fruitful in the journey of automotive. So my name is Aftab Ahmed. I'm Chief Advisor for Automotive. Actually, my name is Aftab Ahmed. Sorry. But it's been a pleasure to see all of you guys, my colleague, my friends, a lot of our suppliers from around the globe. I wasn't even expecting, I think it's CEER and Lucid, especially CEER, Mr. Johnny and his team, who has done a lot of work on inviting all these supply base to here. And it's a great event for networking, definitely, no doubt about it. I started in Saudi Arabia after 30 years in General Motors and Ford around the globe in automotive. So I was born like in automotive right after the school and got opportunity not only in US, but also in Brazil, Thailand, Egypt, Japan, and now in Saudi Arabia. So I've seen a lot of different countries, and this is the place I've enjoyed for my assignment the most. Although all my assignments were very challenging, but this is something which I am proud of, and this is my accomplishment. So what we do as a NIDC, and I have seen the journey in Saudi Arabia. If you think about when I came in 2019, we were presenting some of these slides, and people were laughing. Are you sure in Saudi Arabia and automotive and the OEMs and suppliers? Yes. We ourselves, we knew that we can do it. So thanks to OEMs, thanks to PIF, thanks to Ministry, thanks for Ministry of Investment. And the key is that we are all working together. If anybody who is experienced in the kingdom, how close all the entities are working together. So just for this long intro, maybe next slide, please. So what is NIDC? What is our role? We are under the Ministry of Industry. NIDC is nothing but to help the OEMs and supplier, and our mandate is to localize. We don't deal in trade. We just work for localization in the kingdom. And alhamdulillah, thank God, we are seeing the fruits, what's happening. NIDC is under the Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources. Our board chairman is His Excellency Bandar Al Khuraif, who's the minister. And what our role is, business match. So if some investor comes, the big companies, they're looking for a partner also, local partner. We help them. We know who are the good Saudi groups who are sustainable and who are looking for opportunity in automotive. And there are a lot of examples sitting in this room who have succeeded. Actually, in the last 5 years, we have seen that. And then we actually share the data. So some of the local variables, like compensations, like where to go for their plant, or which entity does what. So we help them along the journey from the cradle to grave for their journey and provide them the comfort that you guys are not alone. We are here to support you. And then when they start the business case, we actually help them because we have done some other projects and some of the fruits are already here in the room. And we know we went through the whole journey with big projects. So we know what to do and what are the variables and how we can optimize those. So we help the business case development also. And then if there is any other support, extra support required to make the project sustainable, we work with other entities like Ministry of Investment. My colleague Ahmed will come and show you. And we all work together with SIDF, which is a big enabler. Actually, the enabler SIDF has is one of the biggest, I would say, for large investment like tires or others, correct? You have, especially automotive is capital intensive. And when you get 50+% of the loan by SIDF and taking the burden of your risk to the kingdom, and SIDF is also part of the Ministry of Industry. We have other entities also. And so this is where we guide the investor. Next slide, please. In NIDC, it's not only automotive we work. So we have side-by-side aerospace, maritime, building materials. We have food processing, machinery and equipment, chemical. So all these sectors, we are working in one building. So if we're talking about steel, aluminum, or even EV metals, we have metal team next to us, and they know what we need. So they work on this, and this is working very well. Similarly, chemical group, rubber, glass, plastic, we all work together. So this is how we do it in the kingdom, which is working very well. Thank you. Next. This is, I think Ismail or David talked about national industrial strategy. So a couple of years ago, we revised our national industrial strategy, and not only for automotive, but for all sectors. And one of the question, how automotive will should be going. From left side, you see you have a SKD. So in Kingdom, since 1977, there was a Mercedes assembly plant was installed. And today it's an assembly plant only. Means that it has a SKD, very little localization. So we are on the left side where 4 OEMs, Isuzu, Mercedes, MAN, Volvo, all of them, plants are there, but only SKD facilities. Although in the other countries, I know that the journey goes from SKD, but unfortunately never got actually moved from SKD to CBU, CKD, CBU. So our goal was basically to bring the OEMs who can ignite, not only just the assembly, full assembly plant, press shop, body shop, general assembly, and paint shop, but also supply chain. We want the 40% minimum local gross value add. And this is what we set our goal 4 years ago. So we have, thank God, we have Lucid, CEER, Hyundai, and SNAM. Thanks to SNAM team, always fighting since I came here. Dr. Fahd, thank you. Your project is not less than any other project. We're looking forward also. And CEER and Hyundai and Lucid are the iconic projects, definitely bigger projects, which has the full-scale manufacturing. So all of them is combined 380,000 passenger vehicles manufacturing in the kingdom already announced. In 2019, when we were showing the slide, our goal was 300,000. And everybody was laughing, but now we've seen within 5 years. We have multiple, our goal is multiple full service or full-scale manufacturing. When we say full-scale manufacturing, it's like all the shops. You start from press shop, body shop, paint shop, general assembly. So we have, our goal now has changed from 300,000 to 500,000 locally manufactured vehicles. And then below is the localization of ecosystem. And thanks to OEMs, we have been successful, and Johnny will go into more on what the success stories are. And our goal also is to have a lithium-ion battery locally manufactured. So this is the next slide, please. So this is what I was saying. This slide, on the right side, we had 300,000 goal in 2019. And now we have moved this 500,000. Maybe Ministry of Investment, if they show it, they might show 600,000. But our goal is actually between 5 and 600,000 by 2035, actual manufacturing. And we think that it's doable. And we are more now realistically, the deals we are looking at, we are working with, a lot of different OEMs. I think it's not difficult to have 600,000. I lived in Egypt, and Egypt industry is actually, I think in 1980s, probably they started. And they have only 200,000, and last year they produced maybe 100,000 or less. So you're talking about a big number. And the market will become, the sale will become 1 million vehicles, plus 2030 around that time frame, which is a pretty good market. So we have assembly plant, supplier park, auto academy, which is already launched. We are working on test track, proving ground, and we're working on supplier development initiatives also. So this is all I think I wanted to show. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Of investment to give us an introduction about the role of the ministry and explain a little bit more what could be offered most probably to some of the suppliers in the kingdom.
Shukran. Thank you. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to start with Vision 2030. Vision 2030, where King Salman, the custodian of 2 holy mosques, where he said, "My primary goal is to be an exemplary and leading nation in all aspects, and I will work with you in achieving this endeavor." From there, Vision 2030 has been established, and thanks to the Vision 2030, many national strategies has been established and announced to basically fulfill this vision. The Vision 2030, it has 3 main pillars: vibrant society, thriving economy, and ambitious nation. Saudi Arabia, it was the fastest growing G20 economy in the year 2022. We have achieved $1.1 trillion of GDP. We were the 17th largest economy in the world, where our goal is to be, by the year 2030, the 15th largest economy. We're very close to reaching that. And also, we have the 3rd lowest debt to GDP ratio among all G20 countries. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has straight A's in the credit ratings, S&P Global, Moody's, and Fitch ratings, as well as having a pretty healthy reserves for foreign exchange of more than 450 billion US dollars. Many changes has supported the growth in the kingdom through establishment of entities such as Authority for Intellectual Property, Saudi Center for Commercial Arbitration, General Authority for SMEs, and so on, as well as doing some reforms by introducing frameworks and policies, including 100% foreign ownership that is being unlocked, as well as having an enforcement of contract being a top priority in the business environment. For the automotive story, my colleague Aftab, he mentioned, under the National Industrial Strategy, where automotive is a key and strategic sector to enable this strategy. Our goal is to achieve 600,000, between 500,000 to 600,000 vehicle of production by the year 2035. And we would like to see more than 40% of local gross value add in terms of localization. This will enable this industry to be sustainable, and as well as utilizing free trade agreements, where I'm going to touch on later on. Here's a quick summary of the latest announced projects. Today, along with SNAM project, we are talking about more than 400,000 vehicles of production by the year 2035. We're very close in achieving our goal, and we hope we would do that soon. On the supply chain, Pirelli, where we have them in the room, they were the first in the supply chain, thanks to them, and also the cooperation with the PIF, together with the enablement and support from all entities, including SIDF, NIDC, and all of the relevant entities. The top priority opportunities in the sector are published on Invest Saudi website. This website has opportunities in the automotive industry that are worth more than 10 billion US dollars by the year 2035. These cover OEM opportunities, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 supply chain, enabling ecosystem opportunities, as well as advanced opportunities, such as lithium-ion batteries. The addressable markets from the kingdom, we're talking about 2.6 million vehicles, as per the free trade agreements we have, including but not limited to GCC free trade agreement, the GAFTA free trade agreement, the EFTA, and Singapore. And also we have others in the negotiation and making. By the year 2035, we do expect that figure to be significantly higher, closer to 4 million vehicles. The home for this auto cluster that, thanks to SEER, Lucid, Hyundai, and Pirelli, this is going to be a special economic zone. This special economic zone has several enablers, including corporate income tax reduction from the normal rate of 20% down to 5%, as well as having 0% VAT withholding tax and custom duties, along with having non-financial benefits such as the availability of the infrastructure. Here's a quick summary of the incentives that are being provided today in the kingdom. The one on the yellow side, it includes SIDF as a main key enabler. I mean, the team at SIDF could elaborate more on the details, but they could cover up to 75% of the capex with, you know, significantly long 10-year loans to enable projects to be successful. As well as having Human Resources Development Fund, they do support salaries and training costs for Saudi newly fresh graduates. We have the utilities as well, are among the lowest globally for industrial sectors at 4.8 cents US dollar per kilowatt hour. Plus special economic zones, and we do have bespoke incentives. These incentives are subject to due diligence and depending on how strategic these projects are, where it could be presented to the National Incentives Committee. Our goal today is to help you connect with all relevant stakeholders from the private sector along with the government side. And our role here is to enable all suppliers and the private sector here in the kingdom to be to taking the informed decision and also be sustainable, growing to reach the goal by the year 2035. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed from Ministry of Investment. Now I call Johnny Saldanha, the Chief Procurement Officer of SEER, to explain about the overview of the different opportunity. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Ismail and David approached me 1 month back and they said that every November they do this networking session. So what I told them is we're already networking for 2 years. After my coming 6 months, we're networking. So now is the time. The dating time is over. We need to engage people and get them married in next 2-3 months. And I said to do that, at least in Asia, you just don't marry the boy and girl. You meet the relatives, the family. So I said we need to bring NIDC, we need to bring MISA, SIDF, so that they can understand which is the family which is going to keep a hand on their head to bless them and say that, yes, we are married. So that's how we ended up. I think it's a very focused audience here. People have already decided who they want to partner with. We have here global suppliers from India, from China, Korea, and then we have some of the big local families who have deep pockets and want to invest. They want to be part of this Vision 20. They want to be part of the auto sector in this country, which is part of the Vision 30. So I think between today and tomorrow, we have some focus meetings in our office. We will ensure that people catch their flights back only after they are engaged. So just to show you some slides, I think before I joined CEER 7 months back, I worked for 25 years with GM and 17 years as a vice president for the international operations. And my key role there was to go into countries we were entering and develop a supplier ecosystem. And a great example was Uzbekistan. When I started working with them, they were making 50,000 vehicles and 20% localized. By the time I retired last year, they were making 450,000 in Uzbekistan, 60,000 in Kazakhstan, 30,000 in Azerbaijan. So the whole CIS was producing 600,000 GM vehicles, and that's what we want to do here. So how does that happen? First of all, I think there has to be a viable and visible sustainable scale. There has to be a good automotive policy. I think you heard from SIDF, you heard from MISA. What is the total support structure which is there in this country? Government-sponsored tunnel development schemes in this country. There is no automotive sector so far, so there's not much talent, automotive experience, but there are various programs from different ministries where we are taking thousands of people, training them, sending them overseas for 1 year into the engineering schools, which are dedicated to automotive in Detroit. Then they're going to the OEMs, then they're going to the suppliers in US, and they will come back after 1 year and start working for us in CEER. Automotive technical infrastructure, I think we're looking at tool shops, we're looking at test and validation labs, etc. And then the incentives, I think we already do, especially during the incubation period, because without incentives, I think this is a high capital, long range return on investment industry. So at the incubation stage, there has to be incentives. And again, my friend Ahmed Al-Maki, as well as the SIDF team, talked about how they can help us with some of these support structures. And lastly, I think you need competitive raw materials. And in this country, we have aluminum, we have resin, we have copper, and so forth. So I think that becomes one of the opportunities both to use them into our components, but also once we develop them as automotive grade, then you can also export them from this country. I think I talked about the requisites. So viable and sustainable volumes, what are we doing? We're trying to leverage the combined scale of CEER, Lucid, Hyundai, and also the MENA after-sales volumes. And even I think we want to go ahead with the North Africa, which is MENA means Middle East and North Africa. Attract state-of-the-art technology. That's why we have all these, some of our best global suppliers who are in this room. They would be partnering with local investors or will be coming here on their own with the technology which they are leaders around the globe. Motivate global suppliers to set up operations. Again, I think we're leveraging the NIDC, PIF, and MISA incentives to motivate suppliers to come here to make their business viable and sustainable through these incentives. Develop tiered supply base. Again, I think to have a complete automotive industrial cluster, you need OEMs, you need tier 1s, but you also need the smaller ones, small and medium, tier 2s, tier 3s. If you go to China, if you go to Korea, if you go to India, why are they so successful? Because they have a very deep, you have a wide localization, but you also need a very deep localization. So we have launched a program where we are trying to develop small and medium suppliers so that they can take over some of the subcomponents from the tier 1s we are bringing into this country. And I think at the end of the day, the Vision 2030 not only talks about having an auto industry because it's the mother of industry, but also to provide opportunities for the local nationals. So it can be through employment or through business opportunities for the small and medium enterprises. Logistics network, again, I think some of people who are sitting in the room are from logistics companies. So we have a huge network of logistics companies here, but they focus more on oil and gas, process industry, whereas in the case of auto, it is a very different skill set you need because it's 3,600 parts, bringing in from 100 suppliers spread over the whole globe. And if one part doesn't reach the plant, the whole assembly line stops. So you need really good systems to track and trace the parts at every station. You need to ensure that there is a cube utilization which is happening. There is a very, very close monitoring of those components so that the inventory levels are kept in the right place and so forth. So it's quite different than oil and gas or process industry. So what we are doing is we are again marrying the global companies which have good experience in logistics with the logistics network who have a lot of infrastructure in this country to partner together so that we can have a good logistic network in this country. Tool shop testing and validation, again, I think we are working with CEER, NIDC and PIF is working together along with Lucid to see that we have a tool shop here so that the tools we bring from China or Korea or India, we can't send them back for repairs or for maintenance. So we want that they should be repaired here, they should be maintained here. A lot of preventive maintenance can ensure that no repairs are required. So we're trying to set up a tool shop which can do all the preventive as well as maintenance of injection molded tools, the press molded tools, and so forth. Ability of local raw material, I already talked about that, and technical and commercial human resources, again, I talked about it. So what is our localization strategy? First of all, we want a very wide and deep localization by harnessing the local raw material, attract state-of-the-art technology and foreign direct investment into this country, localize all bulky parts to minimize CO2 emissions, localize labor-intensive components to generate employment for Saudi nationals, develop KSA as a component, and new EV raw material export hub for neighboring countries, and maximize the local indirect spend because we also spend billions of dollars on M&D, we spend billions of dollars on services, and we want to maximize if we can buy those services, if we can buy the equipment from local vendors. With everything which we have in place, and you'll see that in the next slide, when we start our production, we will be at 38% of the BOM cost localized. And by 2035, we're looking at 45% localization. This is with the plan which we have, but we also have certain other initiatives which we ultimately want to take this up to 50, 55, 60%. So there are some wild ideas which we need to put together and work on them. So we have a supplier park which is being developed with the support of the ecosystem we call MISA and PIF and SIDF as an ecosystem. With their support of $9.98 billion, we're developing a supplier park which is just across the street from our factory in Cake. So these are the very big components, very high value components, which will be localized in that supplier park. Stamping and assembly, subframe and axle assembly, door panels, instrument panels, and center consoles, seat front and rear, bumpers, side panels, wheel arc, etc. You can see those photographs. This will ensure that over a life of 9 years, we will avoid or prevent remittance of foreign exchange of 16.1 billion, which means we will buy 16.1 billion SAR components from these 5 companies. This is 2 very big projects. They are beyond the requirements of Lucid and CEER and whoever else is coming here. These are, there's a very big after-sales market for tires. So Pirelli is our partner for that. And then we have a partner, we've still not announced it, that's why we put TBD, who is going to make batteries here, not only for Lucid CEER, but also for the storage facilities in this country. So these are mega projects, again, for us, it will offset a FX requirement of $33.3 billion. These are some of the wave one, and I think in this room, there are global suppliers and there are partners who want to partner with them for alloy wheels, glass, small stamping, and small injection parts. Again, this is a total buy of $3.2 billion for us. SAR. And then we have a wave two. Again, there are suppliers here in this room who have come to partner. This is for HVAC system, for hard trim, soft trim, lighting, wiring harness, aluminum extrusions, and aluminum castings. And we also have for the low voltage battery, some of the suppliers who have come who are partnering with the local investors. So this will be a buy of close to 7 billion SAR for us. So these are all the opportunities which we have, and I think we have the right players here. We need to ensure, as I said, that we are leaving this country by having a good alignment to move forward and partner together in this great opportunity which is there in this country. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Thank you for these very good insights about the opportunity that are available by CEER. I believe similar opportunity from Lucid, future coming opportunity from Hyundai, and also from SNAM and others. Now we have a short video about SNAM. Actually, I want to explain. So last year we showed Lucid here. So they started their shop or their factory in Cake, and we presented Lucid. So this year SNAM, even though the cars are not ready yet, but Dr. Fahd will explain us. So they already made a big step, I would say. And hopefully next year maybe Hyundai and CEER coming soon, inshallah. So while we will arrange the seats for our panel discussion, you have this video from SNAM. So please prepare your order for the SNAM vehicles. You saw the performance. They are very, very good. Thank you very much, Dr. Fahd, for this video, which is very interesting. Now we start our panel discussion with the first panel. I call Mr. Johnny Saldanha. Please join us. So this first panel will focus on the progress made, how it was made, etc. Then Ben Stewart from CEER. Ben, please. Dr. Fahd, Mr. Aftab, and Mr. Ahmed Al-Malki. So we'll be, and my colleague David. So we will be both moderating this panel. First of all, thank you again very much for joining us, for coming, for the interesting presentation. I want to start with Johnny on my left. Johnny, you have a lot of experience in the automotive industry. And can you tell us how CEER have leveraged the global skills and built the company? And can you tell us some example of the organization you worked for to achieve this aim?
Yeah, I think, are you talking?
It's good.
So first of all, we have almost 37 countries, nationals working in CEER, and they come from various automotive companies. People are here from GM, they are here from Stellantis, they are here from Ford, they are here from Hyundai. So you talk about all the European manufacturers. So we have a skill set which we have brought from around the globe, from different automotive industries. And then we also have local nationals. In my team, we have 36% local nationals. So they bring us the knowledge about the country, about the culture here. So it's a very good mix of having different people, and then you bring different experiences together to really build the company from scratch. And from my personal perspective, I think, as I mentioned earlier briefly, I worked 10 years for 3 Japanese OEMs, and then I worked for 25 years for GM. And last 17 years was as a regional vice president, where I operated from different countries. I was in Brazil, so I have good knowledge of the Latin America automotive industry, have great relationship with the suppliers. Then I moved to China. I was there for 5 years, managing the whole international operation, which was, if you leave North America, which is US, Mexico, and Canada, and then Europe, everything else was under international operations. There was a time when my team was buying $40 billion worth of components from around the region. And I had a team in 38 countries. So I think during those periods, and then I moved to Singapore with the same position, and then into Korea. So I built a lot of relationships with the suppliers around the globe. They trust me. So when I say to some of the suppliers in Korea or to India or to Brazil or in China, they know that if they come, we will take care of them. So that's how some of the people who are here in this room have come through my contacts or my colleagues, my directors who are in this room. So we leverage that relationship. We have a deep knowledge of the automotive industry. We know the cost drivers. We know how the industry works. So all this has helped us to really ensure that we are sourcing a product within the approved budgets, within the material cost which is there. And we are ensuring that we are going to suppliers who are very high technology, as well as we are sure that when we launch the vehicle, they will have very high quality parts.
Thank you very much, Johnny. We believe CEER is under good hands to move forward, hopefully.
Thank you.
Surely, not hopefully.
Thank you, Johnny. Ismail, my first question is to Ben from Lucid. It's great in Riyadh to see more and more Lucids every day and every week, and it's great that they're being built in the kingdom. What would you say is that Lucid's biggest achievement in starting up the plant so far?
So the industrialization, I think from groundbreak until the first cars rolling off the line was around 12 months. So that in and of itself was a pretty big achievement. But I think more importantly for me was the integration of global best practices, health, safety and environment compliance for that facility from an ISO standpoint was achieved within 6 months, which, and I know Johnny, you've worked in plants all over the world, that's unheard of. For a new operation. So I think that it's a testament to the commitment of the team, but also the capability of the local team as well. We have a very high ratio of local KSA talent in the manufacturing operations, and I really believe that that's an indication of what we can expect moving forward. Many suppliers, I think one of their first questions they ask, and I'm sure Johnny gets the same, is what about the workforce? But I think we've seen evidence of how quickly we can move to achieve world-class standards, and I think the future is very bright.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Dr. Fahad, your factory or your plant has some specificity. It's the only one in Jubail, the other are in Cake. So we believe that you probably have a specific approach to the automotive industry. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and specifically what are the biggest achievements so far, and when the production is expected to happen?
Thank you very much for this meeting today. And I think as automotive industry in Saudi Arabia recently established, need a lot of care and a lot of support. As you know, the automotive is very complex in industry, especially the manufacturing, because rely on supply chain. If we don't have very good supply chain, I think we have so difficulty to establish automotive industry. And our strategy for the SNAM, we are manufacturing company, we are not technology, we are manufacturing company and supply chain development. This is the driver for our project and for moving forward. What we actually to understand how we can provide and guarantee all the very important pillars for the automotive industry is the supply chain and also R&D for the local companies. That we start to establish automotive association. We work with automotive association more than 5 years to understand the business and the support of local company. Because local company who will work with us in the beginning, we use them for the R&D. Definitely local company, they will have joint venture or technical consultant from the company they have know-how. What we now, we reach very good point, alhamdulillah, good support from SIDF, and now almost finishing the construction. Our production line will be installation by, inshallah, January. And our production will be third quarter for next year. The capacity will be 30,000 car. This is the first phase. Second phase will go to CKD, will exceed 100,000. Our goal to make the Saudi made for the car will be standard for the quality, for affordability, for reliability as well. Because we are working with the middle class car. We are the IC's company, EV later on when have very good infrastructure for the EV. That's easy, we can jump to the EV. But now we are focusing for the middle class and for the fuel, as I said, ICs. Also, the big achievement for us to localize some parts now. We have almost 15% from the beginning. This is the localized in Saudi Arabia. And our plan for next 5 years will reach around 35% as a local manufacturing with our production, our also supplier, because we are linking now our R&D with tier 1 supplier, because our plan also to establish our Saudi made, because our goal actually later on, we are producing now Korean car, but our goal to produce our brand name, and our brand will be more almost 50% localization for all the parts. This is work with the R&D, what we developed now. We have very good team for R&D exists now, and also other local company to help us to move on, increase the supply chain. What we believe in we are on the East Coast, and our friends in the West Coast, this is give us more varieties, because automotive, when you go to all the world, they don't make it always the clustering. They have some places, different places, because it depends on the logistic, depends on the supply chain. And I think the East Coast is very rich in industry. They more than seaport, almost 5 or 6 seaport in East Coast, from Hassa, Dammam, Jubail, and Ras Al Khair. I think this is also give advantage. Plus the railway now, railway from Jubail to Riyadh. We can utilize also the railway. And Jubail industry, I think when we choose Jubail industry comes very close to tier 3, as you know, and petrochemical company. This is SNAM in general, and this is how I hope I convey the message for the SNAM, and inshallah you will see our production next year.
Thank you very much. It's great. I think you will have a lot of advantage.
Dr. Fahad, I think our roles and intent is not to develop SEER, Lucid, and SNAM, but it is to develop the automotive industrial cluster here. I think in that capacity, the knowledge I bring and the knowledge Ben brings and our team, we would be very open to really helping you, because if you are successful, we will also be successful.
Thank you very much, Johnny.
Thank you, gentlemen. My next question is for Aftab. Aftab, I just want to congratulate you and NIDC for your work in igniting the automotive industry, and also that of the other agencies, MISA, PIF, and SIDF, that have supported that. But what about the kingdom? What about the environment in the kingdom has helped you create that spark?
Thank you, David. So, like I mentioned, it's been 5 years, and it's a very interesting journey. When I came here, I think one of the things I noticed, and we all noticed, that different entities in the kingdom, although their intention was very good, but working somehow in a silo. Means that we had a good intention for 2030 vision, but all the entities were like trying to run in different grounds. And I think the condition, we realized that unless we work all together, Ministry of Industry, NIDC, MISA, SIDF, PIF, this will not be achieved. And this was a big lesson. And very quickly, we conditioned ourselves that we need to work all together. And one of the things National Industrial Strategy provided is a focused strategy that we need to, and it was developed by all of us together, even private SNAM was part of it in that discussion. and PIF and private sector suppliers also, how we want to move and what kind of powertrain is only be restricted or not, while everybody was, in one direction. So we did a balanced strategy. We created a reasonable, realistic goals and marched on it with all working together. And this has been the success story of working together, I think. And then ministries, I think all the ministers, which I have seen in the kingdom, I have not seen in any other country where, very highest level is supporting you. And going, to country after country and soliciting suppliers and OEMs, and they're very accessible in that sense and very, very serious. And the enablers, which Ahmed mentioned, are designed towards supporting this. So in other countries, actually, private sector pushed the government, while in the kingdom, government a lot of time pushed the private sector and the OEMs and suppliers. So this is the key to the success.
Thank you. Very good answer. Congratulations on the work you've done so far.
Thank you, Aftab. My question now for Mr. Al-Malki. You have been remarkably successful to ignite the automotive industry so far. Can you tell us what ingredient and what the business condition environment in Saudi support, let's say, this success?
Thank you. In relation to the business environment, since the Vision 2030 back in 2016, so many reforms has happened, that covered the business environment and also legal environment and so on. In fact, in the year 2019, the government has implemented more than 400 reforms, where the World Bank has announced that the kingdom was the, let's say, the most reformer in that year of 2019, and actually published like a case study on how the kingdom actually unlocked so many barriers for the business sector to basically feel free and be much more, let's say, making the market much more attractive. And in that regard, we are continuing the alignment with the private sector and also the other government entities, particularly the sector owners, to basically remove as much of the barriers and challenges as possible as we go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And my next question is for Johnny. You laid out very nicely your ambitious plans for localization going forward. Can you give us an update on how you're doing against that plan? Do you feel you're ahead of the plan? Do you think you're behind the plan? And can you tell us a bit more about the activities of your team that are doing to drive that plan forward?
First of all, I talked about my network.
Yeah.
When you see in this, the panelist, Ben and I work together in GM, Aftab and I work together in GM, and Dr. Fahad's key person, Dudi Hermanto, worked along with us. So all the three panels, we have been working together. Yeah. So we have a network, we have worked together in the past, and we network very closely here in this country. So coming to localization, I think when I came in 7 months back, there was a huge focus on getting this 5 suppliers, getting alignment with them, sourcing them, and getting them on board. So that was the first task, but we didn't stop there. We said that, okay, that would have been 30% localization. So we went and said, okay, what are the projects we can do differently now? So we looked at some big ticket items like alloy wheels. What do we need to do? So we went and scanned all the suppliers in the world and said, who could be the best partners? We ended up with having a partner here who is actually they have an alliance between the biggest and most prestigious alloy wheel manufacturer in Germany and the most frugal and low-cost manufacturing facilities who have 50% of the market in India. So they're aligning together. And then we have one of the biggest investor in this country. So these three people are getting together. There was a time when people were hesitant to come and invest in this country. Right now, the discussion is, today and tomorrow is, who gets 51% equity? Okay. So that's where we are. So all these three partners want equity, and the discussion is, main discussion is that how do we manage this whole expectation of the equity, which shows that there's so much interest into this country and coming and investing. Same for what we're doing is we went and looked at who are the float glass manufacturers in this country. And Aftab and I and my team, we traveled to Yanbu. There are two very big float glass manufacturers. And they are into float glass, which is required for construction industry. But then we said, okay, how do we partner them? Because it's a different technology for tempering and bending. Yeah. So we have worked with various global suppliers, and we're bringing them together, and we are partnering them, and they are here today. So that's the second big project. Then there are certain things which we initially, before I came in, we sourced them and we localized them in India and China and so forth. So here there are those partners who have come here today. They are very interested in bringing those, like those particular parts which we have localized 2 years down the line, because our initial volumes are very small, because we're launching a very premium car, which is just 6,000 volumes. By the time we bring our the 100,000 between the D and C car, our plan is to localize along with the partners here. So the whole idea is to not have just the global supplier coming here, trying to say that, okay, we want a lot of support from this country. We're trying to make the whole project very viable and sustainable with minimum support from SIDF or MISA or whoever else, but ensure that they are having a proper return on investments, and at the same time, I think without having too much incentives on the table. So that's how we're going about for our localization.
Excellent, thank you.
And we're also looking at whether we could generate exports from here into Europe or into North Africa, because that could get scale, and scale is very important in this business.
Excellent, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. My question goes for Ben, for Lucid. Lucid is starting to establish its operation in the kingdom. What do you see as big challenges in the kingdom to move on and, let's say, make the plant operating?
Sure, thanks, Ismail. It was a nice segue, your last point, Johnny, because certainly from Lucid's standpoint, as we mentioned earlier, we positioned at the luxury or premium end of the EV segment. So really the key for us is to find suppliers and a supply chain that can meet the advanced technology and quality standards that we need for our product. And what that really requires is partnering with suppliers within KSA that can support not only our KSA operations, but our global operations. So that can be viewed in a couple of different ways. It's either producing cars within KSA that are shipping to very demanding markets like Europe, or it's servicing two manufacturing operations for Lucid, where we have our home plant in Arizona, as well as what we're building here in KSA. And I think we'd all agree that to build up a supply base that becomes a potentially preferred supplier, which can export components to a manufacturing site outside of KSA as well, is just as critical as building the support for local manufacturing. So really that's the key for us, and really finding those partners to invest their time, energy and resources from outside of KSA with local entities, as Johnny touched on, is really paramount for us as a deliverable.
Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Fahd, as well as your role of CEO of SNAM, you've also got a unique perspective because you're also the chair of the Saudi Automotive Manufacturers Association. Can you tell us a little bit about that organization and how you see the OEMs working together in that association?
Yes, actually, when we start our business, that, as I said, more than decade and to start to think about this one, we have to think about the supply chain. And as I said, supply chain is not easy. And what we did actually, we create a team, we should working team level. This is in Chamber of Commerce. This is more than 5 years. And that team comes now as association. And now the association, okay, most of the automotive like CEER and Lucid and other, they part, and that's very good to support. And the role of association actually to be the voice of automotive industry to the government, and also to voice for the global. And the big achievement, alhamdulillah, we now part of the AWECA association. We work with the AWECA association, all my friend in AWECA more than 5 years. And 3 years ago, we comes a member for AWECA. AWECA, this who make the standard for the cars, vehicle, and road, and all these things. And that gives us access to supplier, to OEM globally. And the association has a good opportunity to understand also the trend of the world. Also, we are working with the local company. I am agree with Johnny part, but others, I have another point of view. I think to build the supply chain, we have to start with the local company. And now we have several local company here in the meeting. This local company who will be part of the supply chain, and those local company who will talk to the international global supply chain to understand how can localize. Now we sign MOU more than 25 international company from Korea, and this supplier, this tier 1, we provided to all our local company, they negotiate. And we, because we know we will facing the difficulty for the ownership, 51 or 49, who will be this one? In this case, we solve the problem from beginning, because local company, who will get the support from SIDF, from the incentives, and usually local company, they get 70% share. And international will give the know-how and others. And the role for association, this is the main rule actually, plus the, because what we discover, there is 2 big problem for supply chain or for localizing automotive industry. One, it's misalignment with the OEM. And that's what Johnny said is very important. The OEM to alignment with all with the tier 1 supplier and supply chain. Others is financial access to financial support, because as we know now, financial support even go to the different big companies like petrochemical and upstream. And suppliers, it comes not very big investment, and that's very important to make the financial support is very easy and very support for in the beginning, because in the beginning there is a lot of cost, a lot of developing, and in our role for an association to enable and to manage all local suppliers. Now we have almost 25 members now, and our goal to reach 100 members, not the OEM, because we are focusing on the tier 1 supplier who want to invest, who want to comes as a part of our network. And we contact many people. They're willing, even the small companies, but they are willing to increase if we provide financial support. And those companies who will be joined with the international by direction of the OEM. Now, as we're talking now, we are developing a very good rule in cooling system. This is under our IP. And under our working to manage it and to develop it here in Saudi Arabia. This is the rule and we have planning also to, as you know, association, the conferences and the exhibition for the automotive. We will be the voice of the automotive, voice of developing also the talent for the automotive, because sometimes we don't need very high caliber, we need level work, and we have huge Saudis. This comes from the community colleges, even high school, and we have very good program to train them, short training, and now we are implement this in our factory now for the community college or technical college and high school. We bring them to Korea. They have training from 3 to 6 months and work in the assembly and others quality shop.
Doctor,
and the rule, this is, I hope this is clear.
It's perfect. So just to be clear, so if you're a part of the supply chain, you can become a member of the association as well, can you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your answer.
Yes, Johnny, go ahead.
John.
Yeah.
I think
Thank you, Doctor.
two things, Dr. Fadi. First of all, what we want to do is we have a supplier development program, which we are working with MISA, NIDC, and Ministry of Finance. And this will be funded by Ministry of Finance. We would like to come to your association and give you an overview of what this is and see who are the potential people whom we should coach, mentor with this funding which we are getting. So that's one. The second thing is, if you look at where the mature automotive markets are, there is a OEM association and there is a supplier association. And sometimes the objectives may be different, but at the end of the day, it is for development of the whole auto sector. So I think our plan would be, right now we are just bringing suppliers on board, and we will form probably a supplier association. Because sometimes what the suppliers need from different agencies is slightly different than what the OEMs need, so that the supplier association has a voice on certain incentives, certain policies, and so forth. So we will form probably we'll work with you and see if we should form another association with the right people, both the local as well as some of the global suppliers we are bringing here. But I think it's down the line, maybe 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line. And then these two agencies should be working very closely with the government, with the different agencies and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Because also your representative, he joined us for all our meetings and even the board of the meeting. And we've been talking about this one to work. And I think the future for supply chain is very good now. And good support from SIDF. I think this is very important to facilitate the financial support. This is most important for this one.
Thank you, Johnny and Dr. Fahd. Thank you very much. Now we're moving with Aftab from another perspective. Let's say for the commercial vehicles and the buses industry, you mentioned, and we know that there is SKD operations. Do you see any potential future for CKD or even full-scale manufacturing for the commercial sector, commercial vehicles and buses in the kingdom?
Thank you, Ismail. And first of all, very good discussion. And Dr. Fahd, I admire your persistence. You mentioned a decade. I think Dr. Fahd has been working in the kingdom, standing alone, and for last at least more than a decade. I know last 5.5 years, and as a Saudi and educated in US as a PhD in automotive, he was really determined and did not give up. Never gave up, correct? So we had several discussions, and I really congratulate now Dr. Fahd for coming very close on the goal line next year, inshallah. And we all have support for SNAM also. As far as the passenger vehicle versus commercial, our goal in the strategy, we focused initially for passenger vehicle because there's nothing there. And one of the things David mentioned that should we start from OEM or suppliers? And when I came here, I was pushed very hard that we need to bring suppliers. And I said, it doesn't happen. Very few countries brought suppliers before OEM was there. And this is what we changed the focus a little bit. And we worked on OEMs, CEER, Lucid, Hyundai project was initially started from the ministries of industry, NIDC, MISA. We all worked together also. And SNAM also, we helped with the SIDF and others. So this is now next step. Early this year, we discussed this, and our leadership from the ministry, they said, we really need to work on buses and commercial vehicle. And this challenge came to us, and we started looking at how we can localize. There's nothing actually, even SKD for buses. And the buses, the demand will grow very much, because not only for metro, BRT system, Hajj, Umrah, all these big giga projects, NEOM, Red Sea development, Qadaiya, the buses will be required. And those will be both in ICE and hybrid, electric, and hydrogen. It's a little more complicated now, because now the commercial vehicles, the battery electric would be not really a good fit in a lot of countries, but the hydrogen we are looking at, maybe, and Aramco and others, we are all working together. So this is our goal. We are, and Ismail, as you know, we are working, focusing, and we are very close. And hopefully by early next year, we are thinking that we should have 1 or 2 projects in the commercial side, which will be not SKD project. Maybe in the beginning, 1-2 years, SKD, but it will be at least one project for 40% target of localization. And we think that we have a good partner, and with a local partner, and we will be succeeded. So this is the next step. And all this, like Johnny mentioned, all these supply base, these opportunities are not going to be just for passenger vehicle or 1 OEM or 2 OEM. This will be for the kingdom. And there are so many other opportunities coming up, so we're looking forward. And the local partners, the local suppliers, some of you guys know, we've been very pushy with CEER and Lucid to give a piece of pie, however it is possible, even it's challenging. We want to do it because they deserve, the local suppliers deserve to upgrade. And supplier development program, which Johnny also mentioned, is going to be one of the initiatives which will be led by CEER, Lucid, and Ministry of Industry also, which is under development. And this will give another boost for local supplier to upscale the quality and OEM level. Thank you.
Just one. I think you can gradually go upstream. So even if you're SKD, if we put a alloy wheel plant here, so even if they're bringing SKD, they could buy alloy wheels from here. If we put a glass tempering facility, you could bring everything else and use the glass here. So once you do that, then the next step would be that you just get the chassis and do the bodybuilding here, and gradually get into a hydrogen or electric chassis, right? So it has to be a gradual approach, but it'll be opportunity if once we work the passenger cars and passenger vehicles, the next would be once we establish this. Just want to give you an example. We were talking to an Italian company who's potentially going to come here to partner on the glass project. So they're looking much broader than automotive. They're saying that this country is going to have the luxury yacht manufacturing, and they do that for entire Europe there. So they want to bring that technology here and cater to the yacht, this thing. They also do for helicopters, and defense is a big spend here. So they're saying, okay, maybe helicopter is another one. So I think the whole industrialization we are doing with suppliers will not only permeate into the passenger cars, but I think it will go much beyond that.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you very much, Johnny, for this addition. Aftab, again, I'm going back to the commercial vehicles and the buses. In your honest point of view, what are the drawbacks of the Saudi today, let's say, limiting the ignition of this sector?
Every country, like Johnny mentioned, we all have like 100+ years of experience, including you and David. I think I know your background also. And every country has challenges, even the developed countries. But the challenges, when we started talking to, and I'm very open, when we first meeting with Hyundai Motor Company, the only comment we got is all kind of challenges. And we said, give us in writing what you see the challenges. And we got in writing, no supply chain, only one MEPCO is sitting here, Ramel Group, only one OEM level supplier, we can say, or maybe Technoglass was another one was supplying for Volvo. And then we said, we are here to support. So similarly, the challenges are everywhere. Johnny lived in Brazil, I lived in Brazil, Thailand, Egypt. Every country has challenges. But it doesn't mean that you need to stop thinking and how to find the solutions. And this is how we work together with CEER team, with Lucid team, with other partners, local partners, and this is how we moved on. We cannot stop. Challenges are always going to be there, and we have succeeded. I mean, like Johnny, I worked with Johnny for a long time, and even in Egypt, I was there for 3 years, and we developed, up to, we used to call 70% localization. And we have all kind of stamping suppliers, frame, you name it, wiring harness. Actually, Egypt is exporting. Leone is one of the big suppliers. They have 15 plants of wiring harness in Egypt supporting Europe and other countries. And we want to do it here, something like this. That not only for local KSA, the market is much bigger. We are looking for about 3 million vehicles in the GAFTA region. And we're looking beyond that. Even we are talking to some of the folks sitting here beyond just the GAFTA region, in US, in Europe, how we can approach that. So, inshallah, it will happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Aftab. One other question. I go back to the passenger vehicles. So you played a huge role in, let's say, seeing the birth of the OEMs. Now, like Johnny mentioned, the marriage, and we know after the marriage, usually there is birth, there is a baby. So you need to grow it up, right? And to accompany the growth of that baby. So what is the role of NIDC in, let's say, in seeing the growing of the various OEM that are starting in the kingdom?
So now, thank God, we are not at a position where we had to beg for a meeting with suppliers or any. Actually, sometimes we get so many requests for meetings. So we are at a different level in the kingdom, and that's, thank God. We are looking at a lot of OEMs wants to come to Saudi Arabia. So our challenge is now a different level. How do we make this sustainable? We just don't want to create something, because Johnny knows we were in Southeast Asia, ASEAN, Indonesia, Vietnam, and we experienced some of these coming in and go out, as a General Motors also. And even in the US, there were a lot of challenges, we have seen it. So we want to make this sustainable. I mean, the just giving the incentive is not the solution. So we're looking beyond that. How do we make this place? Every country has some kind of protection or benefits for the kingdom or countries. Every country has 40 to 100% duties. We're not saying that we will go that way. But how do we make the local industry sustainable and not depend only now beyond 10 years from now, not depending on incentive continuously. And this is what we need to work together, and we are looking at it, and we have some ideas, and this will come.
I think from a customer perspective, what is the role which I find NIDC is helping us? One is, I think, as Aftab said and Ahmed said, the ministers are traveling around the world, and they get in touch with the confederations and so forth, and then they set up webinars with the Korea supply base, Italy supply base, Indian supply base, and so forth. So that helps us to generate the awareness of CEER as well as Lucid, what we're doing in this country and all, and get some of the suppliers whom we can start talking to, pair them with the local entrepreneurs to localize. So that's one role they play. The other good role they play is that when we have a partnership between a global supplier and a local investor, then we knock their doors and they will connect us to what are the incentives we can get from MISA, what are the incentives we can get from PIF, what are the incentives we can get from SIDF. So we work very closely together on these two fronts, and that helps us to really make the progress which we have made, where you're seeing so many partners here sitting in this room.
No, excellent. Excellent. Thank you for this addition.
Thank you, Ismail. So a final question for this first panel. Mr. Ahmed, in terms of MISA, you have so many priorities, and you as automotive in MISA have many priorities. Why are you so focused on supporting the supply chain?
Thank you very much. So it's pretty much critical. I mean, if we don't support the supply chain, you know, we're going to be, you know, basically sticking maybe in SKD phase, or maybe being very limited in CKD phase for a very long time, kind of similar to what happened with the commercial vehicles in the kingdom. You know, as Aftab mentioned, you know, the oldest SKD plant has started back in the 1970s, and they haven't improved localization since then. So we're pretty much working together with NIDC and other relevant stakeholders to basically bring more tier 1 suppliers, you know, beyond. I mean, we're very proud with the cooperation and the commitment from Pirelli as the first actually supply chain project in cooperation and joint venture with the PIF. This sent a very strong signal across the globe that the kingdom is pretty much committed. You know, we're not just selling, you know, a dream or you know, snake oil. You know, it's something that's very much committed. I mean, until 2035. Today, the committed spending, including R&D, including building equipment and so on, we're talking about close to $12 billion US. So this is pretty much as a testimony to the commitment from the OEM side going upward. So that's why we have developed these opportunities, the aforementioned in the presentation. Hopefully this will create the necessary snowball effect. Hopefully it's going to go and grow actually bigger from here.
Great, thank you. That's a very good answer.
And thank you, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd just like to thank all the members of the panel. It's the end of our first round, but wonderful answers and great insights. So we really appreciate the time you've given us.
Thank you very much. So,
Thank you.
So please, Johnny, Ben, and Dr. Fahad, stay with us. Ahmed, Aftab, and Mr. Malki. Thank you.
Thank you.
I call Mr. Bertrand Fulconier, who is Executive Vice President of Benteler, KSA of Benteler. And Mr. Ahmed Lehita, who is CEO of MENA Tire Company, Pirelli and PIF joint venture.
Should we take a bio break? Everybody is going, so
I
5
think
minutes and then we get together.
We can have a break. It's a good suggestion.
I
and
also
then
need
we come
one,
back.
so thank you.
So let's. It's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah, 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, I will. Assalamu alaikum. We wish to restart again, please. Hello, hello. We restart.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Please retake your seats for the second panel. Thank you.
Please come back. We will restart. Please. يلا الله يهديك. السلام عليكم. الحمد لله فاين. أخ أحمد. لسه. We will restart, please. Where is Johnny? Huh?
تفضل. وليد.
Okay, everyone, we're ready to restart for the second panel. Yeah. Please retake your seats for the second panel.
Please, we restart the panel. Please have a seat. We just restart. Thank you. Please. We're just restarting the panel. Thank you very much. I would like to thank Johnny for his good proposal of this break. It was, I think, needed. No, he was very serious. He's the supply chain chief, so he knows stuff. So let me introduce Bertrand Falconier, who is Executive Vice President of Benteler KSA, and Ahmed Lehita, who is CEO of Mina Tire Company, which is a joint venture between Pirelli, the Italian brand, and PIF. So welcome to our stage. I think we can start.
Thank you, Ismail. Just like to ask Bertrand, first of all, could you give us an overview of Benteler? What kind of products do you make? And how have Benteler arrived at those products through their history?
Okay,
Yeah,
right,
thank
yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to everyone. And before I will answer the question, so I don't know if I will get married for a second time today, Johnny, but let's give it a try. At least David and Ismail made me a couple of years younger than I am.
Third time. First time LOI, second time
let's
this
take
thing,
it.
and now
Exactly.
finally the contract.
Exactly.
You can go, I mean, in contrast with France, you can only marry one wife. Here you can go to 4.
So we have already 2.
So the floor is
with the
open,
C and Lucid, and hopefully more to come. But definitely, thank you for having me here, the opportunity to be there. This is a great opportunity, as it was several times mentioned, to network and to constitute this family. Very, very important. What is Benteler? Benteler is a large automotive company, not only automotive, but I will focus on automotive. To give you some numbers first, more than 6 billion euro turnover on automotive business each year, 20,000 employees, and we are just present on all continents where cars are built. We are married, we are engaged to all relevant OEMs worldwide, shall it be in China, so to cover Asia Pacific, India, of course, going down South Africa, of course Europe, North America, South America, Mexico, so everywhere where car makers do produce cars, then we are there. What do we do? What are the components we do manufacture? All components are made of metals. And here I need to distinguish primarily two metals are being processed within Benteler. This is steel and aluminum. Very relevant for different properties. You can imagine, you know that aluminum giving opportunities to have more lightweight products, and steel to cover all the range of strength you need for a car. And among those two metals, we first start to make parts for the car body. Car body needs to be, and we saw one picture with a lot of robots welding the car body. Body in white is cold. So here we will supply typically with cold foam parts and as well hot stamping parts. Then it continues with some newly developed battery storage system. The cells, the battery cells, they need to be stored accurately, properly, in a very safe environment. That in case of crash, of course you do not put passengers at risk, and you prevent any fire and explosion. So this is as well what we have done recently for a number of cars. We continue with what we call subframe or axles. It's just regardless the way the car is moved on the road, is that through pure electrical engines, is that through internal combustion engines, you will need an axle, you will need a subframe, you will need a very sophisticated part to liaise the two wheels, left side, right side, with the engine. This is called subframe and axle part. So we do a number of them, and in all kind of designs, in order to meet the OEM requirements. Just continue with some crash management systems. It is important, and here we are developing, we are manufacturing some parts in order to answer the low-speed crash requirements of the OEMs, leading to better insurance rates. So this is very important, not to damage the car body, the car itself, while providing a very clever management system that will absorb the energy at low speed crash. So we do have that for the front car, for the rear, very important elements. And then now we are entering into the interior part of the vehicle, where each of us driving a car, even sitting in a car, you will have a so-called instrumental panel in front of you. So you have the steering wheel, you have the entertainment system, you have whatever boxes, storage boxes in front of you. That is all made out of leather, plastics, but it is not robust enough to be held in a car. And here behind that, you have again a metal structure holding that everything. It's called instrumental panel support. And here we do as well millions of them each year for car manufacturers. Okay. So in a sense, this is what Benteler is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and privileged to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move with Mr. Ahmed. I will not ask you to describe a tire. I think many of us knows the tire. However, Pirelli I'm seeing in Riyadh, and a lot of panels and signals and lights. So it's very famous and very known Italian brand. Can you tell us a little bit more about your manufacturing footprint globally?
Yeah, for sure. Pirelli's strategy is always to be locally present, close to the OEMs mainly, the car manufacturers. Over the years, we have built a very, very strong relationship with car manufacturers, building reliability, building trust, and being locally in the countries enable us to to be able to build, let's say, the tire that is needed by the manufacturer. So we're talking about, we are always, let's say, ahead, knowing what car types are coming, what is the models, what is the need. So we are like, when we are homologating tires, which take us about maybe 2 years, we are already, let's say, ready for with the tires that is needed by the manufacturer. So we are always in the places where there is, let's say, high value opportunities, and this is how Pirelli is doing. I mean, the strategy, even it's confirmed like right now, even in Saudi Arabia. So we are here because also there is car manufacturers, there is CEER, there is Lucid, there is Hyundai, and this is the opportunity that we are always there from the beginning to be ready once the cars are coming. Or we are ready with the right tire. Of course, as a presence, we have 7 plants in Europe. We have 4 in Asia. We have 3 in South America. We have 2 in North America, and we have 2 in Russia. And all is serving, let's say, mainly focused, of course, is the original equipment and of course, is the customer replacement market.
Thank you very much. So you are present everywhere except in MENA, and
Right
this
now
operation will be very good for the future
course.
for the OEMs, but also for after sales.
Of course, of course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Johnny, if I can come back to you, we've spoken a lot about global suppliers, but can you tell us what are the criteria that you're looking for a global supplier, or the qualities that you're looking for in a global supplier in order for it to work with CEER?
We have 4 criteria which we use on a sourcing process. We call it QRTC. One is quality. It comes first. The second one is responsiveness. The third one is technology. And the fourth one is cost.
Okay.
So these are the 4. When we started the scan for global suppliers, what we were looking for is technology leaders, EV experience, experience in industrializing around the globe, and a scale so that they get that scale benefit for us to be competitive here. So these were some of the criteria which we were using.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Very clear. Thank you.
Is it working? Thank you, Johnny. Now I move with Ben. You have been working in the supply chain for many years. What lessons you learned from your past experience, and those lessons can be applied to Saudi Arabia in the context of Lucid?
Yeah, well, 20 years with a 100-year-old global automotive powerhouse, and the last 6 years with a startup in Vietnam. It's safe to say I've seen it all, good and bad. I'm sure some of my fellow colleagues can attest to. You know, iconic brands in countries with huge market shares to emerging markets where there are significant growth opportunities. There's a single constant, and that's, you know, the success of those organisations are underpinned by the strength of supply capability and relationships. And I think that's something that we are all very much focused on here in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be a mandatory piece of our own success, both individually for Lucid, but also for the industry in KSA. I think as we've touched on before, it's critical for us to find suppliers that are able to grow, but at a speed that suits what we're trying to do. And making sure that the things that we do with those suppliers provide them with the best opportunity to be successful as well. The supplier development activities that we're talking about here in KSA, that approach is going to be the backbone of what will be the future of our industry here in KSA. And it's, without that, we will not be successful. So I think jointly, a lot of the work we're doing from industry partners as well as the OEMs internally, are working together very, very closely to ensure that any suppliers that do come into KSA or expand their operations within KSA do so in a way that's going to mean sustainability for them, to ensure that they're not singularly dependent on any one commodity or customer moving forward. So that's really what we'll focus on.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Fahd, if I could come to you. We've all spoken about how important it is to develop the supply chain, but we know there's going to be some big challenges ahead. Could you talk about what you see as some of the big challenges and also some of the things that we can do and you can do in order to overcome those challenges?
Yes, thank you very much about this question, because it's very important to go to the root. Because what I'm saying from my journey, the challenge or problems depends on your business model. What is the business model for manufacturing? This is reflect the challenge for the suppliers. For example, I think CEER and Lucy, they start from scratch. For example, CEER, they design the car and they design and they looking for suppliers. Different than other business model, already we have global suppliers. This is very important to manage our effort, because sometimes we spend effort and financial for something we already have it. What we are focusing in SNAM, in supplier, and what we see what the challenge for the local suppliers, because I think local suppliers is very important. If even we create local supplier, or we go to the small company and enlarge these companies as suppliers. Unfortunately, there is no program for go for this these suppliers, because already we signed more than 25 tier 1 suppliers from Korea, and they're willing to come to support us for all the most of the parts until 50%, 60%. But they cannot come without the local company who will be the gate in locally. Even the investment comes to the local. Even the IV go to the local. What I realized, even the Malaysian experience and Chinese experience, when they did, they focus on the local companies. And the challenge what we're facing, even the main rule for the association now, to find out or create or talk to the local suppliers, because local supplier who will be the joint venture with the international supplier who we recommend to them, because we don't search, because this is the SKD concept when we start. That gives us, when we move to CKD, that already we have enough suppliers. Even if we quit our relation with our partner in the beginning, we can survive. This is the challenge. I think the big challenge now, there is no program. And in association now, we developing this program for the local supplier to search and to convince those local who will enter the automotive industry. And I hope all other government agency to support this idea, because this, I give you example, Malaysia, when they start in 80s, 85, now the local supplier exceed 4,000 tier 1 and tier 2. And the production more than 650,000 cars. That gives us a looking for comprehensive for all these suppliers. We should go for the local and spend time to create this one. I think this is the big challenge, and I hope later on we can find a program, because another things, this is linked to the R&D. R&D and development of vehicle or parts to customize in our market, and we can export it. That's very important. comes parallel with this local suppliers for when we go to the CKD, because in CKD we cannot survive unless we have minimum 40 to 60% local suppliers. If we don't reach this percentage, we will facing huge difficulties to make CKD survive, and we can export, and also we will lacking of standard and so on. I think this is the big challenge.
Thank you,
for this
so you see collaboration between local and global suppliers as an important way of overcoming that challenge?
I think so,
Yeah.
but in the beginning, I think, because, you know, some journey, we should start with the local companies.
Okay.
Local companies who will talk to the global
Yes, yeah.
companies,
Okay.
and to invite them and to agree about the ownership percentage. This is also another to
Okay.
finalize the discussion for ownership.
Excellent, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Fahd. Bertrand, for Benteler is a global company, as you mentioned, with present in many locations, and some of them, they are very close to the, let's say, automotive OEMs plants. Can you tell us how being very close physically is critical for the success of your business?
How critical it is. First, before we enter into production, before a car is being built, I think today it's a brilliant and another example why it is important to network, to marry, to come together. And you don't do that via Teams. You don't do it via Zoom. At a certain point of time, all this infrastructure, which was several times mentioned by Johnny, Ben and Dr. Farid here, it has to happen physically. So this is one element why we are there today, why we will continue, why we are very committed to be there. This is to contribute to the infrastructure, automotive infrastructure build-up. Now, when it comes to production, I would say this is the essence of any car maker. To be lean, what we call lean, to be efficient. You have to be competitive. There is a huge competition worldwide on how to sell cars. And not only it's a design element, this is at the end of the day very much about price, about cost, about what is affordable, yes or no. And here we have our part to play, we have a role to play. It's to contribute to make this car making industry efficient. And what is efficient, again, referring to numbers, a car maker will look for something going from 20, 25 jobs per hour, so 25 cars per hour being built up to 40. It's a lot. You can't do that if you are, as a system supplier, as a very important contributor to the car body, to the heart of the car. You can't do that via a long range distance. You have to be with them because each minute counts. If I do refer with for our axle assembly business, so this is a very important element of the powertrain of the body of the car. A lot of elements, a lot of pieces need to be screwed, to be welded, to be assembled, to be tested together, and to be supplied within a couple of minutes, within a couple of hours to the supplier, to the car makers. Again, there, you can imagine you can't do that with hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. So this is just because of the nature of the automotive industry. And before we assemble parts, this is just to constitute that family, to constitute that network, which was several times mentioned as important.
Thank you very much. Very clear. Thank you, Bertrand.
Thank you, Ismail. Ahmed, if I can ask you about tyres for electric vehicles. Can you give us an overview of how they will be different from tyres for conventional ICE cars?
This tires, for sure, it's a sophisticated process, and Pirelli have been, I think, one of the first to introduce the electric the tire for the electric vehicle, because it's different and it's very, let's say, it play a crucial part in the electric car. First, of course, the electric car. I mean, many things need to be, let's say, taken care of. The first thing is for sure is the weight. The car weight of the electric car is heavier because of the batteries. Also, there is a high torque coming from the engine, and of course, because it's not, let's say, an IC, so the noise cancellation also is something that we must be taken into account. The rolling resistance, because of the, of course, to keep up the energy, you know, at a lower level.
Yeah.
So it's a highly, let's say, it's a very sophisticated process. But we are very proud in Pirelli that we are one of the first to introduce it in the market, and it's really moving very well with the car manufacturers. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Ismail.
Ben, one question about the development of the supplier. So today we are more talking about partnership, not suppliership-based relation. What are you looking for in your partnership with these companies that can provide component and system for Lucid?
Yeah, so for Lucid, as I mentioned before, technology is something at the forefront of the products that we produce. So of course, the quality of the products that we get from suppliers are absolutely critical. So we need suppliers that are investing in their own advanced technologies, investing in their people, and also manufacturing excellence. Beyond that, it really comes down to innovation. For Lucid, what we're looking for with partners is those suppliers that can truly integrate with the technologies that we have within the vehicle, which is a task for many, but we're certainly committed to finding and developing those suppliers to increase the number of them within our ecosystem. But it also comes with innovation in things like cost competitiveness. So for the product that we'll be producing in Saudi Arabia will be for an entirely new segment for Lucid, mass market, high volume product, where this is absolutely critical for us. So we'll be looking to the expertise of suppliers to provide us with their own views on how we can reach those targets, which will be very challenging. But as I've said before, we'll only come with those sorts of partnerships with suppliers.
Thank you very much, Ben. I go back to Ben Teller with Bertrand. You mentioned many products you are doing, and in this product you need stamping, welding, I would say medium part, small parts, and a lot of other components. What steps any supplier needs to take with you to become your supplier, I would say?
Thank you for the question, Ismail. It's not only about parts. If I may add some scopes that might be relevant, might be interesting here for the audience. This is also about services in the various fields. It will be maintenance. It is IT. This is HR. This is people, resources. So that could be as well interesting here, specifically or definitely for local companies. It goes as well in the early stage where we are now with all capex that we need to engage, where we have a co-responsibility to pick up the suppliers. It's about a crane. This is about all what will constitute the equipment and the building. And this is a relatively significant amount of capex, millions of US dollars to be engaged. So this is not only about part, but then now coming back to your question, how there are several ways to contact us. Me first. Max is in the room, my colleague of mine. So this is only a very small presence. But to be and now to come to a more sophisticated process behind here, you can look on our website, and the purchasing team has has posted already the ways how to engage into the process of being qualified as a supplier. It's all about as well some quality certifications we are looking for in order to be sure that the parts we are collecting, we will be using are in time, in quality, and in cost.
Thank you very much. I move to Ahmed from Pirelli. For your local plant, inshallah, it's coming in maybe 27 or something in the kingdom. Are you considering any local raw material purchasing and so on for this plant?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we already have KPIs for local supplies. But even without these KPIs, that is from the kingdom, but we also, this is the way we do it. I mean, strategically, Pirelli always, whenever there is a manufacturing plant, we are always seeking to find local manufacturers and to go ahead with this, because this is for sure is maximize your benefit. And but again, it's a process that takes some time. We already have some contracts in place even now as we speak for our plant, for carbon black, for synthetic rubber locally, and we are of course going to expand more in this, because but the process takes time, because of course we are talking about a product that is, it's not about how beautiful it looks, it's about how safe it is. So we are very keen to make sure that everything is properly.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Important to achieve cost reductions for your customers also, right?
This is no comment from myself.
Thank you very much. We are approaching the end of this panel discussion. I will ask Johnny to make a good conclusion, but before that, I let him think about the conclusion. If there is any questions in the auditorium, if you have any question for our panelists, including Mr. Aftab. Any question? Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's very enriching discussion, so thank you all. My question goes to CEER and Lucid. I think you guys have in the pipeline your autonomous cars coming in, right? There's the EV pipeline and then there's the autonomous cars as well. I want to know, for the EV vehicles that's coming in by the production of 2035, you mentioned, I think it was you, Mr. Johnny, mentioning around 100,000 vehicles that are going to be locally manufactured in Saudi by then. What kind of adjustment in the infrastructure that we have done in Saudi or that we are considering to do to actually accommodate that large production? This is question number one. And question two, for the autonomous vehicles pipeline, how are we actually tackling this with the accident rates that we have in Saudi and all of the social kind of abnormality in driving? Yeah, so the question goes for CEER, Lucid, and everyone in the panel who can add to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you give the mic to my director of electrical and electronics, who's just sitting in front of you? She can answer the autonomous question. Her name is Iris.
Yeah, actually.
Maybe the infrastructure question first.
Done.
But about the Aptiv, what we're doing with Aptiv.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Iris from CEER. I'm looking after electrical and electronics procurement. Nice to meet you all. Probably stand up so everyone can see me. So that's a really good question, actually. Yes, we know autonomous drive is one of the key pillars for the electrical vehicle. For this particular country, I driving every day, and I see the challenge as a normal driver. I think we all have this really kind of a wish. Someday we can have this electrical autonomous vehicle in this country, in this kingdom, and we don't worry about the traffic and the challenges we are facing every day. So from CEER perspective, we do have a partner with Aptiv as a global autonomous driver driving supplier leader to support us in this program. So we've been working very closely with them. We have a big investment together to drive this into this country and make it available in our vehicles. So I think very soon you will see this autonomous drive vehicle here in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It may not be autonomous, but it will be like the Super Cruise of GM or the autopilot of Tesla. There would still be a driver, but the vehicle will do lane departures, stopping if there is some of this thing. So those features, we are taking it to an advanced level, level 4. And level 5 will be when people are, there's no driver, but that we don't have a plan, but we have a Super Cruise or autopilot, what Tesla has in this country.
Exactly. So it will be phased like L2++, and next level L4 and L5. So it will be a bit long journey, but we're determined to bring this to this country.
Thank you very much. Ben,
I think
you have any
besides
addition
the
or-
infrastructure, it's basically the driving habits. So when I came into this country, people told me, buy a big vehicle. I bought a Tahoe because I see people coming from both sides, a lot of people not driving within the lanes and so forth. So that has to come first, and then I think the infrastructure comes into play.
But that's only in Riyadh.
So we should shift our headquarters to Dammam.
Thank you. So let's take another question, please. Just the mic.
I am Fadi Jardali from Zamel Group. You mentioned hydrogen fuel cell as something that is coming to Aramco, I believe.
Aftab mentioned that.
Yes. But what about methanol fuel cell? Because methanol is readily available in Saudi. There are like more than 6 or 7 plants. And SIPChem, which is one of the Zamel subsidiaries, is doing now low carbon methanol. Yeah. So isn't it much better and more practical for the local market than hydrogen?
So I think it's still maturing, hydrogen fuel cell, and actually there are a lot of OEMs working on hydrogen ICE engine, which is a kind of a bigger attraction, correct? So we don't know how this will. We get a lot of companies who have interest on hydrogen fuel cell at this point. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I was in one of the events at Dammam, and Aramco has organized that, CTEC or something like that, where there was a MOU signed with a Chinese company, and there is a Hyperview, and there is already a vehicle, which is a prototype with hydrogen fuel cell, a large truck, commercial truck, and they will actually do a pilot in the kingdom from Dammam to Riyadh very soon. And so this is just the beginning. I know the Hydromen is another organization. You might be familiar with Gary Flom and team in Hydromen. And Aramco and Ministry of Energy is very active in defining the strategy and policy for hydrogen. Because hydrogen has some challenges still, but I think future you will see in commercial side especially, and my colleague who are from Hyundai and Toyota, who's not here, but they're working very hard to bring the hydrogen technology also, parallelly with the EV. So we see, since the kingdom has hydrogen, green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, there are so many projects ongoing, and SIPChem and others, I think we all need to work together and see what makes sense for the kingdom.
I think you didn't answer the question. He was saying, why hydrogen, why not methanol? We have sufficient in this country.
Yeah, so most of the OEMs in the globe, they're looking at, and because methanol is one of them, which could be, successful in the fuel cell, correct? So there are certain companies who are interested in that also, but I'm not the expert in hydrogen fuel and fuel cell, but I would say that whatever is going to make sense as far as the cost competitiveness. Today, you know, the vehicle which was built as a prototype was $2 million, just to tell you. Okay, they revealed to me because we are working together with them also. And it is very expensive, but we are looking at 5 to 7 years from now. You know, companies like even US companies are looking at Saudi Arabia as one of the hub. Even I will mention a company named like Nikola, you know, which is very big in US. They contacted us also that what's going on in Saudi Arabia. So there's so much interest in Saudi Arabia for hydrogen and fuel cell. So this is coming, inshallah.
So one question, how much would be a liter of methanol versus a liter of petrol? 1
ton of methanol is 450 pounds.
And how much is in this country, how much is the petrol for?
2 riyals, 1 liter. So 2 riyal is $0.50. So you are talking about 50% more. 50%. But my question is, like many years ago, I rode into a bus in Houston that is going by methanol fuel cell. I mean, the drawback between hydrogen and methanol is that the methanol is lower efficiency. Mm-hmm. So it's like 2 to 1. But methanol, as you said, is from the logistics is too difficult because you cannot store it. As you do with, you know, butane gas and even natural gas. Hydrogen is so difficult to store. But you are right when you said Toyota has done something, and if you go to the YouTube, you can see what they have done. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have another question here in the front. It's next to you.
Yes.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, I just want to go back to when the gentleman talked, especially Dr. Fahad, about supporting suppliers. We are one of them here, our site in Medina. We started almost a year ago. We are about finishing our project, targeting to start very soon, inshallah, within 2 months. We have recruited high technology machines, high pressure die casting, low pressure die casting, gravity and sand casting, and also machine shop with high technology CNC machines. And we have heat treatment also a facility. All kind of required equipment for quality check. And we have signed, in fact, 4 agreements with very high-level technology partner, China, India, Turkey, and Italy, covering Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. And I really like to thank one of the company here. I don't like to announce the name, that they gave us a chance and gave us a part, and we are working on designing. And inshallah, next year you'll see us here talking about our experience. We have recruited also high-level engineers working their experience in automotive industry for a long time, and even producing parts for like BMW, Daimler Benz, Audi, and so on. So just to let you know that there is one Saudi, 100% Saudi, with technical partnership or actually support agreement at high level around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Had you approached the SIDF for a loan?
Yes, we are working, and we hope Mr. Ahmed can help us in that. Okay.
It's very good.
Yes, we are at the end of the يعني إن شاء الله
end of the process,
yes,
right?
yes, إن شاء الله بإذن الله.
Yeah, please, Dr. Fahad, yes.
Our company name is Saudi Low Cost Company. It is located in Medina. شكرا.
Great, thank you. Dr. Fahad.
Yeah, thank you very much, Saudi. That's local company, what I mentioned, and also this company part of our association. And we have more than 25 like this company. And that's what company, local company, we are searching and convince all the investors to join us. And also they get the loan from SIDF and also get the offtake from us. We work now, we developing the working with them about the casting and other product in SNAM, inshallah, in the future, inshallah.
Very good. Thank you, Doctor. I think we can take probably the last question or one before the last question.
Thank you. Boubacar Siala from Baku Motors Group. My question to Mr. Aftab. We can observe in Europe there are a new automotive market segmentation, which is micromobility. Especially for the last mile delivery and e-commerce and so on. What do you think? There are a place here in the kingdom for such market segmentation, micromobility with electric vehicles, small electric vehicle for the next years?
Thank you, Mr. Boubacar. And thanks for joining, actually, from Tunisia. I think, like I said, the journey of automotive, our focus initially was to bring the big guys, the chicken, where everybody will get attractive. This is the after effects. And we appreciate your interest also in last mile. And I think we're looking at all segments. So now it's all the mobility. It's all mobility. In fact, our mandate is now changed to even rails. Okay, rails is mobility. Next 2 days after that, there's a big conference, rail conference in Riyadh, and we will be joining there also, because there's a lot of overlap. So everything will help each other. And I think something like micromobility, some people ask about three-wheeler, two-wheeler, other things. India has been very successful in E2, three-wheelers, small vehicles like you have shown to us. I think all this will come. And the investment initially would be low, we think. SIDF is here to support if the project has done the due diligence. And we are all here to support. There are so many interest in three-wheelers and micromobility. I think localization should not be an issue either, because simple panels and just the battery, if you achieve a local battery, which we have a plan, then you can succeed with significant localization also. Thank you.
Thank you, Aftab.
I think one of the important thing for any last mile, it's like a workhorse, right? Unless you have a very good charging network, it becomes difficult to make it commercially viable for somebody to use an electric vehicle to do the last mile. So I think, first of all, I think the cost of per cell has to come down substantially. And the second thing has to happen is that you need a very wide network of charging stations in the country. So these are the two key requisites to get into those type of last mile delivery vehicles to be electric.
Thank you, Johnny, for this addition. Thank you. Let's take a last question if you have. Gentleman over here.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning, good afternoon. This is Adil from Lucid Motors. I'm the heading the inside sales and customer insights and innovation. Right. So there was a comment from Johnny about safety. I'd like to take that a bit forward. So I'm talking about with the point of view of the post-sales experience, and the question is to the entire panel. Are there any efforts being sort of vested in sort of creating a better, safer experience, driving experience, and not just in Riyadh, across Saudi Arabia? what I'm actually hinting at is telematics. It's very much prevalent in Europe and US and so on and so forth, and in East Asia as well. To the best of my knowledge, there's only one product being offered by a insurance provider here, and with hardly any traction or awareness around about it. So can let's say all you maestros who've contributed significantly and of course making a huge with every passing day, can ensure in this direction to have a safer driving experience? And I think personally, I'm not an expert, but I read a lot and sort of taught myself a lot around this subject. So can we all together ensure that telematics can actually be enforced and maybe made prevalent and maybe promoted and pushed to be taken up with insurance companies or otherwise? Thank you.
Can you give the mic back again instead of? It's good. She's the expert on telematics, what we're doing in our car.
So when you talk about telematics, I believe you refers to connected service. Is that my understanding correct?
Driver behavior, basically live input, output, and driver behavior. So that will actually determine how good a driver I am, and that will actually set, let's say, the rules and with all the geosynced, all the information that is available, traffic systems, or of course it's connected at the end of the day. But how me as a driver could actually, let's say, influence. Hello. Yeah. So, connected experience, of course, and so me as a driver, how am I being assessed in terms of not just my past behavior, how many accidents I've been into, or how many mistakes, or what percentage of accidents was attributed to my mistake or my, let's say, driving experience, but overall, how am I operating the car? Am I braking well? Am I turning the right way? Am I applying let's say, not accelerating too much? If there is a speed limit and there's no camera to catch me, whether I'm observing the speed limits or not. So that in itself, an ecosystem, could actually, and this is very much prevalent in Europe and US and in China and otherwise as well. So how can we ensure, I believe this is the key to ensure, while we have all the experts working towards making amazing automotive ecosystem, well, let's just take it to the last mile and create a better experience as well.
Thank you. One of our key technology focus on, in addition to autonomous drive, is a connected service. So we are putting a lot of efforts in not only the technology in the vehicle, but also connected to the network and the cloud service, and able to collect this data and do the analysis, diagnosis, and all this data available will help all this, infrastructure, how to improve and monitor the driver behavior, and from safety, allow all the insurance company, all this set up together. I think it will be, again, ecosystem efforts. Once all this efforts, data collected, will help the government to put more procedure and process in place as well. So from my perspective, I see this is going to enable all this available very soon. So this is what I can comment based on what I know so far. CEER has been putting a lot of efforts in this area.
I think the module which we are talking about with Aptiv, it will have many features. Lane departure. Have you driven any vehicle with lane departure? It pulls you back.
He drives a Lucid.
Lucid. Okay. He's from Lucid?
Yeah. I was going to suggest some of the.
He'll answer your question. I think with that, when we talk about Super Cruise or we talk about autopilot,
Dream Drive Pro.
It will auto slow you if there is somebody in front. Will give you if somebody's, because it's.
Yeah. You need to drive a Lucid.
360,
we'll show you what
360 surrounded this thing, right? Because I've driven the Super Cruise in US, the Chevrolet vehicles. So that's what we will bring to this market.
Thank you.
Ismail, I think we need to thank our panel for their wonderful
Of
inputs.
course.
Thank you very much.
Just one comment, what Adil mentioned. I think the behavior is very important. Whatever we put the tools in the vehicle, unless we do not enforce our behaviors, correct? and it's getting out of control. Believe me, my wife doesn't want to drive. I mean, I hardly, want to drive sometime. And infrastructure, other things, they're all good things, nice things. But unless we drive in the lines, you never know where somebody else will come. Even if you have everything in your cars, you don't know somebody from front or back or side. So I think, but the insurance or ticketing and the behavior can be measured, and other countries have used that, and especially the insurance get very high in US. If you get 3 tickets, some insurance companies don't even want to talk to you. So this might be a way to initially change the behavior also. Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
before you conclude, I think we have here who we know, we have invited them from around the globe, and then we have local investors whom we have invited, so we know who it is. But for the people who we have not invited and we have not connected, they're coming first time, I would like to introduce, because we have our entire purchasing team here. So we have Nicola here. She is the director of body in white and chassis. So anybody of you interested in any product, Alukas can connect with her. You've already connected with her, right? So she's here. Then we have Iris. She's part of the electrical and electronics director. And anything related to electrical, if you have any interest, you can contact her while we are networking here. And then way behind, my friend Imam, he manages interior, exterior, and e-powertrain. So battery and EDS and everything is bought by him. So you can connect with him when we are, and then we have some of the managers who are working for these directors. So we have 3 directors in purchasing, all are here. I am here. That shows how much importance we are giving to this event. We have left everything. We're very busy trying to source and keep our program timing, but we thought this is a very important event and we should be here and spend the whole day.
Thank you very much, Johnny, for